If you want to learn what multi-level OKRs are and why use it, and learn how to manage it in Notion, then stick around. Hi, my name is Carina, and I'm a full-time Notion creator and consultant. I capitalize on my experience as a former head of customer success in SaaS tech startups to build systems and templates in Notion that can help startups optimize their workflows and improve their productivity. If you're just interested in learning how to use it in Notion, then just check the timestamps in the video description and skip to the relevant section. OKRs is a goal-setting framework that was created by Intel in the 70s, but really popularized by Google in the late 90s. It is still a very popular framework nowadays with both startups and large companies. While it's mostly used in the business context, I think you can certainly use it for setting your own personal goals. OKR stands for objectives and key results. And objectives are the goals that you want to achieve. They're this vision that you have for your company or for yourself. They're the place that you want to go. And while they're ambitious and they should be challenging, they should also be realistic. And the key results are the how you get to that place. They're the steps that you need to take to reach your goals. They need to be specific, they need to be concrete, they need to be measurable, and they need to be time-bound. OKRs are normally set on a quarterly basis, which means you're going to define your top priorities for the next 90 days. This is going to allow you to focus on what's most important and then prioritize your projects, your tasks to really get things done and reach those goals. In a business context, OKR also helps make sure teams are aligned and working towards a common goal. Let me give you an example of what an OKR looks like. Let's use a personal example first. Let's say I want to increase my financial security. My key results will be save and invest $1,500 by the end of the quarter, make sure I have 6 months worth of expenses in savings, and pay off all my high interest debt. On a business level, an OKR might look something like this. The objective is to grow revenue, and the key results are reduce customer churn by 2%, introduce an in-product buying experience, and increase the average deal size from 10 to 12K. Now let's talk about multi-level OKRs. Multi-level OKRs can also be referred to as cascading OKRs, but there's a difference between the two. Cascading OKRs means that the key results of the company become the objectives of the team, and the key results of the team become the objectives of the individuals. But this assumes a top-down approach, meaning teams and individuals are not actually consulted or involved in the goal-setting process. So I'm not a fan of this approach at all. That's why I prefer to use the term multi-level OKRs. In a multi-level OKR approach, the company leadership will actually collaborate with the team leads and with the individual contributors to come up with a set of objectives at company, team, and individual level. Even if you adopt this bottoms-up approach to goal setting, you still need a framework to capture and share this information within your organization. And this is why I believe the cascading OKRs framework still makes sense. And let me show you what that looks like. If you look at this diagram, you can see that the company key results become the team objectives, and the team key results are the individual objectives. So there's only 3 layers in this framework instead of 6. Because in a traditional OKR setup, you would have the company objectives and company key results. Then you would take those key results and you would set team objectives and team key results and so forth. So in this framework, you basically eliminate 3 layers and you end up with company objectives, team objectives, and individual objectives. The individual objectives are the real key results, and each individual will be working on a multitude of initiatives and projects to actually reach those key results. Before we dive into how to manage OKRs in Notion, I want to leave you with 6 tips for writing and managing OKRs effectively. Number 1, set OKRs on a quarterly basis rather than annual. And this will allow you to remain agile and allow you to make adjustments as you go. If you need to eliminate a key result or adjust it in the middle of that quarterly cycle, then do it. Number 2, I recommend that you stick to 3 objectives max. Anything more than that will make you lose focus on what has the biggest impact. Number 3, make sure your teams are contributing to the definition of the objectives to make sure you have commitment and alignment from the entire business. Number 4, set ambitious but controllable goals. Let's use me as an example. I've just created this YouTube channel and this is my very first video, and my goal could be to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the quarter. but I can't really control that. What I can control is the content production. So a better goal would be to produce a YouTube video per week. But if you're enjoying my content and you want to help me reach that goal, please like and subscribe. Number 5 is set smart key results. Make sure they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. Number 6, and most importantly, don't just set it and forget it. Make sure you're checking in with your teams on a fortnightly or monthly basis to check in on their progress. See if there's any project that is at risk or it is blocked, and find a way to unblock those projects and move forward. If there's something that is not working, then can it? Remain agile. You do not have to continue with something that is not working. And that's it in terms of my OKRs overview. Now I want to show you how to manage multi-level OKRs in Notion using my template. Now we're looking at the multi-level OKRs main dashboard, and I want to give you a quick tour. So here at the top, you can see the quarters. Down below, you have your objectives. So you have the company objectives for this quarter, the team objectives for this quarter, and an annual view of the company objectives grouped by quarter. Down below, you have a 3-level view of the OKR. So you have the company objective, the team objective, and the individual objectives, with an indication of which team does this objective belong to. And here at the bottom, you have a progress tracker where you can track the progress with your key results by owner and by status. But before we dive any further into how to use the main dashboard, I actually want to talk about how this dashboard was built. So in this page here at the top, I have included the 3 databases that form this dashboard. We have our quarters, our objectives, and our key results. And I would encourage you to think of the databases as the back end, whereas the main dashboard is the front end. So the databases contain the original source of information, whereas what you see in the main dashboard are just linked views of these databases. So if you click on our quarters database, you can see that the information here is organized in a table format, whereas in the main dashboard, it's organized in a gallery view. My recommendation is that you edit your quarters, your objectives, and your key results directly in the databases in the backend instead of doing it directly in the main dashboard. And there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, I think it's much easier to edit information in a table format than in a gallery view, but perhaps that's just personal preference. But number 2, the views in the main dashboard have several filters and sorts applied to it, which means it might make a new entry disappear before you've had the opportunity to add all the necessary information, because most of the views in the main dashboard are actually filtered for the current quarter. So if you create a new objective, but you forget to add a quarter, that entry will just vanish and you will forget that you've created it. So my recommendation is that you do it in the back end, because these are not filtered views. This will show you all the information that you have. Now let's start editing the information in the quarters database. As you will see, if you're familiar with my templates, I always like to include sample data so that it's much easier to visualize what the main dashboard is supposed to look like. You can either entirely delete that data, or just edit the entries that are already there and adjust them as needed, or create a new entry. So let me show you how to create a new entry. You can either click the new button here at the top or the new button at the bottom of the table. Again, personal preference, I prefer to edit in this view. As you can see, when I click new, you have pre-filled information being populated, and this is happening because I have created a template called new quarter that will be applied by default to all new entries. And the reason why I do that is so that the formatting looks the same and the content of the pages looks the same. As you can see, this automatically created a little calendar icon, and if I open the page, you will see that it contains several views that were again populated by using that template. But let's not worry about this for now. Let's just continue editing our information directly in the table. So for my new quarter, I want to, first of all, edit the name. So for example, we want to create a Q1 2024, and I want to select the respective time frame. Now we're looking at 2024, and Q1 2024 will run from the 1st of January, and I will select an end date, which is the 31st of March. And there you go. Now input your year, which is 2024, and decide whether or not it's the current quarter. All you have to do is to change the checkbox. And that's it. It's really straightforward. That's all you have to do here in the quarters database. Now let's go back to our databases page and move on to our objectives database. As you can see, the information is also displayed in a table format, and there's only 3 properties that you're going to need to edit. Now, there are more properties included in this database, but I've chosen to hide them because you will not need to do anything with it. These are all relations, roll-ups, or formulas that help visualize the data in the main dashboard. What's different about the objectives database in comparison with the quarters is that you have a parent and a child relationship built in here. This is how I created the 3-level OKRs. You have a company level objective, and then I have the company key results, which in turn become the team objectives as we've talked about. So my recommendation is that you start by setting your company objectives. So same as we've done for the quarters database, let's just click on the new button at the bottom of the table and create our new company objective. Now that we have our company objectives, make sure you assign a quarter to it. And in the team field, select your company name. You can either use the pre-selected options, sample data that I've included in here, or you can edit these as you see fit. So for example, I could actually type my actual company name. So make sure that you assign your company name to the team objectives. And this is important because this will be used as a filter in the main dashboard. Next, what you will want to do is to open each of the company objective pages and make sure you select the new company objective. And what this will do is to populate the page with information that is related to the other databases. Again, don't worry too much about this now, but this is information that will be displayed in the front end. Now let's repeat that for each company objective. And let's head back to our table. What you will want to do now is to add your company key results, which are basically your team objectives. And the way you're going to do that is by creating a sub item. So you click the toggle on the left-hand side of the company objective, and this will open a drop-down menu that includes the option to create a new sub item. So just click on that and type your team objective. Once that's done, again, make sure you select your corresponding quarter and select the team that will be responsible for this objective. Now, similarly to what we've done with the company objectives, let's open the page for the team objective and apply the template. Then make sure to repeat the process for the company B objective and the company C objective. But for the sake of this demo, let's leave it at this and head back to the databases page. Next, we have our key results database. As you can see, the key results database contains a lot more information than the previous two. Let's have a quick look at the different properties included in here. So the first one is obviously the key result that you're going to define. The next property is a team objective, which is a relation to the objectives database. So you're going to be able to select the objective that is associated with the key result you've just inserted. Then you're going to have the option to assign each key result to an individual owner or several owners, because you might have a cross-functional team of individuals working on it. Next, you have 3 fields containing values. You have your starting value, current value, and your target value. Your target value is pretty self-explanatory. You just enter the number that you want to reach for that particular key result. The starting value is the value before the new quarter commenced. So if you're setting objectives for Q2, your starting value was the value for that specific metric at the end of Q1. And current value is what you're going to use on that fortnightly or monthly basis to keep track of your progress. And these three properties together are what's going to allow you to keep overall progress and calculate a percentage of progress with each of the key results, which in turn will roll up into the team objectives and to the company objectives. So you'll be able to have a general view of progress across all areas. Lastly, you have a status property to help you indicate how healthy the progress is towards this specific objective. Is it at risk? Is it blocked? Is it on track? Again, you can edit this property as you see fit. You can add new statuses, or you can rename the ones that are here for now. You can edit the status directly in the main dashboard, so you do not need to come into the back end on your day-to-day as you're tracking progress for your key results. Now let's add a new key result, and by now you know the drill. Just click the plus new button at the bottom of the table and you will see a template being applied. Now rename your key result as you see fit. And make sure you select the team objective that this key result is associated with. Do not select a company level objective. Make sure you select a team objective. The team objectives are indicated by this little arrow sign, whereas the company objectives have the target sign or the bullseye sign on it. So let's say this key result is associated with team objective A. Next, I'm going to select the owner of this key result, and I would go ahead and set my starting, current, and target values. Again, target value, very self-explanatory. I do want to give you a little tip when setting starting, current, and target values. If your key result is not a numerical metric and it's more of a yes or no type of key result, you either attain it or you don't, and there's no real way to measure progress, which you should never set key results like that. That's not my recommendation. There should always be some sort of progress of increase, and that's what you should be tracking. But if it's a yes or no type of key result, just set 1 as the target value. The starting value is 0, and you can then track the current progress with 0.1 or 0.5 or 0.7 as you're making progress. So it's basically a binary result. It's either 0 or 1, but you can measure progress with decimals for anything in between. An example of a key result that is not measured by a number is this one: creating a value selling framework and train AEs on it. It's either you've done it or you're not. So it's a binary response. Therefore, your target, it's going to be 1. Your starting value will be 0. And then as you make progress, for example, you've created the framework, but you've not yet trained the AEs on it, you could say that your current value is 0.5. This is a simple way to approach these non-numerical key results. And now that we're all set, we can easily head back into our OKRs main dashboard. Now let's see how the information that we inputted in the backend looks like in the front end. So at the very top, you have your quarters. You can change your quarters directly from here, and all of the information below will automatically update. So I currently have Q1 2023 selected as the current quarter, and we will see that there's 3 company objectives for this quarter. But if I change the current quarter from Q1 to Q2, you can see that the company objectives have been automatically updated. So this makes it really easy to update quarters as time goes by. The other thing you can do with the quarters database is click on the card itself, and within that page you will have a summary of the company objectives for that quarter and the team objectives for that quarter. If you scroll further down in that page, you will see the 3-level OKRs for this quarter. So you have your company objective, your team objective, and your key result. This will come really handy, for example, if you're in Q4, but you want to have a look at what you worked on in Q3. This is a super quick way to look at what happened in previous quarters. Let's move on to the objectives section. In here, you will have three views: the company objectives for this quarter, the team objectives for this quarter, and an annual view of all the company objectives grouped by quarter. In each of these views, you'll be able to see the progress that has been made so far. You can also click on each of the cards to see the information associated with it. So if you click on the objective, you will see the 3-level OKRs and a progress tracker at the bottom. This makes it really easy to see what action is being taken towards the specific objective. If we move further down and look at OKRs, this is a 3-level overview. I wouldn't do anything particular with this view. Of course, similarly to what you've seen before, you can click on the card itself and see more information contained in it. But this one I think is more for an overview than something you would use on a weekly basis. And lastly, at the bottom of the page, we actually have our progress tracker. This is something that you would most likely use on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. You will have all of your individual contributors in teams working towards these goals on a daily basis, and this is where they should update the information. So the first view is grouped by status, and the second one is grouped by owner. The status view lets you quickly see if there's any key results that are possibly at risk, blocked, or on track. If you come in here and see one of your objectives is blocked, you want to make sure that you will be speaking to the people working on it and see how you can help them unblock that key result. If, for example, you're having a meeting with a specific individual in the company or a manager, you might want to have a look at the key results by owner so that you know what the specific person is responsible for, and you can have a conversation about how things are going for all of their key results. And that is all. I hope you found this video helpful, and if so, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to adopt this framework for your business, there's a link down below in the description to download the template. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.